You came in this morning, Graham, and you said to me, and as you sort of laughing through the side of your mouth, you always find a way to shoot yourselves in the foot. What did you mean?
100%. I mean, this is Rich coming from a Scotsman, but how I see it, I've been around longer than you guys. Every World Cup, every Euros, it's the same old story. Everyone's under pressure. Why don't the media get behind their team, get behind the manager, make them feel good about going into this World Cup? I mean, everyone's under
63
pressure.
shots, haven't scored from open play.
I agree
for
with
5
that,
games.
but how can you support something that's unsupportable? I heard him say that we need people to support, and absolutely the England team and the media should be encouraging. But you also can't say that this is great to watch.
Well,
wonderful getting beat 4-0 home by Hungary. That's great, fantastic. Can we have some more of that?
Can I explain?
Go ahead.
So I think every England manager has spouted the same thing. You know, why don't they get behind us? I mean, as a Scotsman, it's only good news. You know, you're tearing yourself apart. It's great. This is how I see it. This competition that we're getting criticism for is friendlies. It was there to replace friendlies. Let me tell you a story. When I got, I think, 54, 55 caps, I didn't play in many friendlies. We were encouraged not to play in friendlies. Then I become a manager, and you think an ideal opportunity to go and look at a player is the week of internationals. I never went to watch friendlies. You're not seeing the real player in friendlies. Now, whether they're dropping by 2 or 3%, you're not at it. Now, let me finish. Look at the Germans who've just avoided being relegated.
Yep.
Sorry, the French just avoided relegation by 1 point. Yep. Current world champions. The team they play tonight, not at it. Germany. The big teams are not at it. Big players will not be able to get themselves up to a point where they need to win in this competition. It's a glorified friendly. It's a money-making exercise by UEFA. And how you can't see through that, these players are not at it. No, and that's why they get beat by Hungary and anyone else.
But the flip side of that is you've still got to and I agree with you that the rabid response, and it's like they've been waiting for Southgate and they're waiting for this opportunity.
Why should it be like that?
Well, I'm not saying that it should be like that, but I'm saying that there is an element of that there is a camp, and I'm slightly in that camp, that Southgate has been fortuitous in getting the job in the first place and has had some very, 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 very favourable draws.
Does that mean he should be criticised then?
Well, everyone should be
goes wrong.
Hold on. Everyone should be criticised. If you can take the praise when something isn't going as well, you should take the criticism. It's got to be fair and it's got to be balanced criticism. It hasn't got to be extreme. In the same way that the praise shouldn't have gone ridiculously off the charts.
Got to semi-finals and the final of major competition.
Granted. But again, I'll go to the point that I'm making, which is if you got draws like we did, and most of the England managers going previously would have bitten Gareth Southgate's arm off at the shoulder for some of the draws they've got. We beat the teams that we should beat, and we lost to the teams that possibly we couldn't, or we wouldn't necessarily be guaranteed to beat. You can't lose games with a second-string team of players that are competing to get into the World Cup framework, 4-0 to teams like Hungary, and expect no reaction from either the fans or from the media. You can't then say, irrespective of the evidence of your eyes, supports us. There has to be some consequence for poor performances, irrespective whether it's friendlies or
I'll come back to it.
games
For
or not.
me, the top and bottom of it is the players are not at it, and it's understandable. The chat when this tournament was introduced was it's to replace friendlies, put a competitive edge to it. You can't do that with players. Let me give you an example of how, if you're not at it, 100%, you stop winning games. Bob Paisley's last year at Liverpool, we had won the league with about 6 games to go. Couldn't win a game after that. I can remember saying to the guys, I think the last game of the season was Aston Villa at home. It's our manager's last game. He's been here forever. Let's make sure we win this one. Yep. I think it was Aston Villa. We got an honourable 1-1 draw. So the point I'm making,
but fundamentally, you'd won the league, hadn't you?
Yeah, but
you've done your job.
But it's in your head.
No, I get
it. In your head. But these players are not at it.
But by the same token, I would suspect that maybe Bob Paisley wasn't at it as much at that particular time because he had won the league. So the call up on you guys was different. Now, Gareth Southgate, and I agree with you, which once you get stuck into a certain gear, it's very difficult to get out of that gear. If you get stuck in second gear and you stay in second gear, then you might not be able to find your way out of it. But in part, that's the manager's job to say, I realise that we might not be at it.
There's no words from a manager, I'll take these big players where they need to be in this competition. And I think it's time that people realise that instead of writing the ridiculous headlines, having the manager have to come out and defend himself and talking about he shouldn't be any different than anyone else, he'll be judged on. Let them concentrate on the job in hand. It's the World Cup and they have a chance. They'll have a chance.
But
If Harry Kane scores goals, they'll have a chance.
There's also the ridiculousness of why in God's name did we need to give a tournament manager a contract prior to a tournament? His job is to manage England in tournaments.
Let's go to let's hear what he had to say yesterday.
I can't even Europa League. What's it called these days? These
Nations
the
League.
UEFA Nations League.
Oh, really?
Right, so we'll come back to this in just a second because Gareth Southgate did speak about this yesterday, and he was talking about how, obviously we've spoken about the pressure that he might be undergoing into the World Cup, but he talks about his relationship with the media as well.
No, look, I'm fortunate that I'm now, sadly, in my 50s. I've been in football 30 years. I've got, in one guise or other, I've been to 12 tournaments, whether that's working with these chaps or scouting, 7 or this will be my 7th as a player or a coach. So I've seen pretty much everything. I've seen the cycle of war with the media. I've seen absolute love-in. We're somewhere in the middle of that, or maybe not quite in the middle. So that's fascinating to observe from my side. And it's a life experience that I knew at some point would probably come with this job. So I have to accept that. I didn't ever get too carried away by what happened before, and I'm not too down about what's happening now.
Is that the mentality that he needs to show? He says, I've been through 12 tournaments as a player and as a manager. I've been involved in the war with the media, the love-in with the media. We're somewhere in the middle, maybe not at the moment, suggesting it's probably a little bit for closer to the war than it is the love-in. And does that give him too much pressure going into a World Cup?
Yes. You're heaping on yourselves unnecessarily. He was wrong there.
He's putting himself.
No, the whole media circus is heaping it on them, and then you get the man in the street.
But they're entitled to.
Isn't
be
this
under
rich? A
pressure,
Scotsman
Graham.
defending the England,
But
cause.
you're not. You're defending the managerial position rather than England
Here we
cause.
go
You're
again.
justifying
By the way,
existence.
we have this every week.
I know.
But we do.
He's anti-manager. I'm pro-manager.
I'm really not.
He's pro-owner. I'm anti-owner.
I'm really not. I just try to help
Long-time
you.
listener, first-time
I
caller.
try to help you, give you a rounded view on things. He's entitled to be under pressure. He's the England manager. He is at the top of the tree, and ultimately with that comes huge recognition, huge rewards, huge opportunity, and an element of pressure. And you cannot suggest that he shouldn't be under pressure. Now, if he wants to be clever, right, and what I thought was clever about it is you're taking it away from the media. You're taking away the fear factor that the media would like to put in your mindset. You're under pressure, you're going to lose your job, by addressing the issue before the media do. I know, I'm under no illusion. I've been around, I've seen the way this works, I've been loved by the media, I've been loathed by the media, I'm in the middle of it all now.
So it's a tactic.
Of course it's a tactic, because I'd do the same. You know what? If someone turns around to me and says, the thing that I regularly get confronted with is you're a failed football club owner, so I'll get it out first before they can get it out. I'll address the issue. Don't let anyone know that it affects me, and take it away from someone that's going to be clever about making that particular offering. Gareth is saying, I live and die by my results. That's the business of me, and you don't worry me. You guys don't worry me. You didn't worry me when you loved me. You don't worry me when you don't like me. I'm in the middle of it all. I'm a big boy. I've seen it all. You can write what you want. The team's going to perform the way I determine it performs. And I like that.
See, my mate, Sir David Murray, is deemed a failed football owner.
Yeah.
He won 38 trophies. But it's a bit like
Which is
being
in
a
the eye of the
politician.
beholder, isn't it?
It's a bit like being a politician. You know, you
But what I'm
Basically,
saying
Minister,
it's
you-
always going to come to an end at some point.
Yeah, I mean,
course it is.
Gareth was wrong in his assumption that he knew probably the criticism would come his way. It's guaranteed. You go through, you would not speak to any ex-England manager that says it's the most difficult job out there. For some reason, you turn on yourselves, and it's madness.
But it's not
a couple
true,
of months
Graham.
away. It is.
People observe on what they see. They have.
No,
do you want high expectations or no expectations? The challenge is that you have a
He's
country
got-
that expects someone to.
He's got credit in the bank. He's been to the final of the Euros. He's been to the semi-finals of the World Cup.
And that's true.
But is that
in
credit
Russia.
used up by the
And
fact they
now-
haven't scored a goal from open play in 5 games?
But
Shouldn't
then
be.
you're coming. I come back
Shouldn't be.
to it. The players are not at it. I've been a player. I've been there. I understand.
Oh,
I
that's
understand
great.
their things.
That's great. Pull on a shirt for England.
No.
You're not at it. Now try and get the average man. And hang on, Gray. Try and get the average man in the street to understand that.
Well, that needs to be explained to them.
Why should they have to? Why should people get picked for their country and have the luxury of not being
needs
at
to be
it?
explained to them.
Well, maybe that's
I'll
what
come
we're
back
here
to-
for.
This was
You mean they need to swallow crap? Get on with what we're prepared to give you.
They made the noises. This was replacing friendlies, and they've replaced friendlies with friendly.
But they also made the noises that after the June performances,
the English keep going.
We'll be better.
You English keep going.
We'll be
As a
better.
Scotsman,
Yeah,
no, you're after us. I can't go back to Scotland.
You can criticise and be praised. You don't qualify for tournaments.
You're
So
right.
your relevance is
we are
incidental.
now top of the table.
Hey,
Please.
I was at Hampden Park on Wednesday night. It looks like Scotland are going to be the only team from the British Isles in League A by the next.
Oh, great! They can win the games that have no relevance. When they play Ukraine to qualify for a World Cup, they can't do it. Great.
We'll come back in just a second. We're with Graeme Souness and Simon Jordan, Sam Matterface here through till 1 o'clock this afternoon. You are listening to talkSPORT.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.